Hey y'all, I'm Ashley, your Southern Lesbian. Welcome back. It is really good to see y'all. It's been a minute, I know. What is that? I felt compelled to jump on here and talk to y'all about something. Give me a minute, I'm gonna get to the point, okay? But I'm just gonna dive right in. We're gay, in case, maybe some of y'all forgot. If you're not gay, you are welcome to stay here and listen to this because this applies across the board to everyone who is interested in dating. Now, the reason I bring up we're gay, not because I thought y'all forgot, but because if you're gay, that means that you've probably had to bottle things up in your life. I mean, growing up as a kid in the South, I bottled up a lot. And even if you did grow up in a super accepting family, you can't tell me that there were people that you had to hide your sexuality from, or that you just felt uncomfortable coming out around or talking about it, right? So, did y'all get a moment just there of like a little flash of a memory? Well, that's how you know. That's how you know. I'm talking to you. So I feel like as the gay community, we already have grown up with this, are you speaking up for yourself? Like maybe someone's misspeaking about our community or saying something that doesn't set well with you. Or maybe if you're an ally, maybe you've got somebody in the family or a friend who's lesbian, bi, gay, transgender, queer, and maybe someone's saying something negative about it and you don't like it. But the question is, are you brave enough to say something? And if not, why not? And the other question I really have for y'all is, are you able to speak up for yourself in moments where someone is gaslighting you? Oof. A lot of us learn to keep silent on these issues, especially with those closest to us, because we didn't want to start an argument. Look, I learned two things from a very young age. Number one, we don't talk about sex in the house. So raise your hand if your mom, when you hit 13 and had your first period, handed you a box of tampons, pushed you in the bathroom and said, the instructions are inside, and then shut the door. Oh God, here's a great little aside story for y'all. When I was around 20, one of my first girlfriends, right? I invited her to go with my family to the beach for a few days, and she inevitably, on like day 2 of the beach trip, got her period, and she was like, Ashley, I just started my period, and I'm like, okay, no problem. I brought tampons, and she's like, no, I've never used one before. I've always used pads, and I'm like, you're 20 years old. How have you? Okay, so what did I do with her? I handed her a box of tampons, I pushed her in the bathroom, I shut the door and said, the instructions are inside. What the hell? It's like we just didn't talk about these things. This was my girlfriend. I was completely comfortable with her. So just to let y'all know, so like after half an hour in there of her struggling, I'm sitting in the bedroom and I can hear her, I can't do it, I need your help. So in I go, and I had that poor girl lay down on the bathroom floor, and I helped her insert the tampon. But moral of the story, again, our parents didn't talk to us about things. So if that gives you a little bit of an idea of how the rest of my adulthood went about talking about things. God forbid we talk about relationships, especially if you're gay. Okay, so back to bottling things up. Number 2 thing I learned was that we don't say anything to upset the balance in the family if we're the only ones that are going to be affected by it. That's what I learned. I don't know if all y'all did, but that is definitely, and my mom didn't ask me to do this. Nobody asked me to do this. It's just something that I did as a kid. I thought, well, I'm the only one being affected by this thing that I feel, so I'm just going to be quiet because everybody else is okay. And why do I need to upset the balance of the rest of the family? Why am I telling all y'all this? Well, here's the deal. Here's what I'm getting to. Here's my point. I think for those of y'all who are really afraid to jump back into the dating pool, who've been sitting back on the sidelines, I think y'all are about to get really excited about this next part. So this is a thing that I had already learned in my head, but only really learned in my heart this year through life experience. Boundaries are the missing piece you're looking for. Well, that doesn't make any sense, lesbian. I know, it sounds so counterintuitive, it doesn't make any sense. What do you mean, Ashley? I got to push somebody away to bring them closer? Well, Broomhilda, yeah, kinda. Here's what I mean by that. So think about your last relationship and think about that first red flag that came up, right? Got it? Okay, so then think about when that red flag came fully to fruition. They weren't the same moment, were they? There are always moments where these things pop up and we know We know that we need to speak up, but we don't. And this is just that good girl conditioning, y'all. This is just that not wanting to speak up because you've heard that relationships are compromise. And well, it's okay for me to let go of this thing that I feel like I need because I'm making my partner happy. Relationships are about compromise and I want to do that for her. Well, not if it means letting go of your North Star. No, ma'am. And also, why would you do that in that moment? Why would you do that? And here's why I say this, because I just went through this and I just did that and learned the real hard way what happens. So the reality is relationships are about truth, and truth is what builds trust. So you cannot gloss over something that really means something important to you and then expect for things to go well later down the road and for you not to have resentment and for that person to not resent you for not telling them. So this is where I really messed up, right? And the thing is, the moment that these things come up, you have to speak up. And here's the part you're not going to like to hear. You also have to allow that moment to destroy everything if that's what it's meant to do. Blow it up. Just blow it up. And here's why. If she stays and wants to hear you out and wants to work with you in that truth, then hallelujah, she may be your girl. But if she doesn't want to, she's not your girl. And no amount of convincing her or you keeping quiet is going to change that. You know why? Because the further you get into that relationship, the deeper you're going to feel that you're betraying yourself by keeping silent. So the question is, how have you mistaken self-worth for self-sacrifice? Oof, that don't feel good to hear, does it? So for me, it was definitely by compromising and thinking that I was doing the right thing by doing that for my partner, right? But again, if it's at the cost of your true north, no. And you'll feel it. One of the biggest lessons I learned this year that I had never properly learned before, honestly, was learning how to let go, to stop chasing something that wasn't working. I'll never do it again. I could have saved myself a world of hurt if I had spoken up at that first red flag. And the reality is, if I had spoken up then, we wouldn't have dated. And at the time, I was just so excited that I'd met somebody I was so drawn to, and there were so many wonderful things about her that I chose to abandon myself. One of the deepest pains, though, I can tell you that I've known is choosing to abandon myself and feeling it in real time, continuing to stay in it, watching it go down. Boundaries. And you can't just say them. You have to be willing to hold them. You have to be willing to let it explode if it's not meant to be. Let it die. Let it be something different. Let it be a friendship. Or if y'all don't have that energy, then just walking away, period. You got to be willing to hold them, and you got to be willing to let people go who don't respect them. Here's the thing about law of attraction, y'all. It's going to bring the person to you where you are in your healing journey. Law of attraction holds up a big mirror to us and says, here's where you are. Here's who you are in that other person that you're seeing. And I'm gonna tell you something, sometimes we don't like what we see. I certainly didn't. And it'll test you, and it'll make sure you're standing fully in your authentic power, and it will make you speak up to be true to yourself. This is how you'll know. Now, relationships are meant to challenge us. There's going to be conflict. That's how you grow. I heard a line once that said, conflict is just relationships' way of deepening, or something to that effect. But I thought that was really poignant. It made sense to me because we're all coming from different sides of the planet, and different cultures and different whatever. We're going to have differences, and we have to be able to work those out. So conflict is never the problem. What you do with that conflict and the person that you choose to work through that conflict with means everything. Are they willing to sit in the space with you while you work through your triggers? And that's just not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 times if you've got years worth of trauma. You're going to need time to work through those things, and so are they. So that means you also have to be willing to hold space for them while they mess up, while they react, while they do crazy things, and while they react. So it's not about absence of conflict. It's about holding space for each other gently while you're working through these things. And if just one of you isn't willing to do that, the whole thing doesn't work. Both of you have to be committed. If they want to break up and walk out after a fight, just let them. Because you know what? Persuading someone to stay just doesn't work. Take it from me, just let them go. Trying to convince anybody to stay is not going to make you feel good about yourself. Let him go. It means that y'all weren't a right fit anyway. You need a real connection that proves itself so you can tell that you're not just there because of attraction, right? And yes, I want you to be attracted to your partner. I don't want you dating a Broomhilda. Give yourself time to wait and see what's really happening there. So another time when you might want to speak up is when you start feeling like somebody's only dating a version of you that they want you to be. Speak up, hold your boundaries. Like if you feel like they're only dating you because of the sex, or they're dating you because you're paying for things, or they're dating you because you have a certain type of car or friends, or can get them access to something, who knows, whatever it is. These are times where you got to really make sure y'all are on the same playing field. And if you're not, you need to know that. The relationship should be balanced in a way that feels good to both of you. Okay, and the other thing is, you do not need to be fully healed to be in a relationship. No. Both people have to be willing to do the healing work in the relationship, but no, you don't want to wait. Like I certainly waited too long sitting on the sidelines thinking that I needed to be fully healed. Well, relationships are where you really do that work. No matter how many times I say this to you, no matter how much I had learned previously, getting in the relationships is where the work happens. You'll always be learning and growing, and it's that partner that chooses to stick around and allow you to do that work and hold that space for you that's gold. You know, and you're gonna hurt each other's feelings a bit while you're doing this. This is part of that healing journey, you know? It's learning how to speak each other's love languages, learning how to communicate in ways that you hear each other, that you feel seen. As long as your healing or their healing isn't costing anybody their peace, I say fantastic. You know, it should, if you've talked about this and if you're on the same page with it, there shouldn't be any of that toxic push-pull dynamic. Jay Shetty has a good quote. I'm gonna read it to y'all right now. He says, "People love through the lens of what they survived." Well, that's it right there, right? And there are a lot of people out there who aren't willing to admit that they have trauma work to do. And to their credit, we might not even realize it on a conscious level, you know? But the thing is, guess what? It's not your job to push them to do that. It's not your job to stick around if they don't want to do it. It's our job, unfortunately, in those moments, to let them go. So back to the law of attraction for a second. Do you know why it's important to walk away from people like this? Because essentially you're saying to the universe that, no, this doesn't work for me and I would like something healthier, please. So do you know what your relationship patterns are? Like, have you ever sat down and written these out with a paper and pen? Like the names of your exes, why y'all broke up, looked at what the patterns were, and then figured out why you have those patterns in a relationship? If you've never done this exercise, let me tell you, it's really eye-opening. Once I sat down and did that, it didn't change things right away, but it was an awakening. Okay, some more wise words for y'all from Miss Magdalena McClellan, who I adore. So she says, are you performing in order to be chosen? Or are you showing up as exactly who you are and letting people meet you there? Well, that's the work. That's the work for people like us, who have grown up bottling things up, okay? You are not more worthy because you're exhausted. Your value is not defined by how much you can handle without needing anything in return. Raise your hand if you overperform in relationships. Raise your hand if, you sweep it under the rug every day because you think it's only a little thing, like, oh, well, I know I made dinner the last 12 nights in a row, but I'm going to make it again tonight. Your self-worth is not something you earn. It's built into you, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. And from this place, you get to ask for more. More joy, more ease, more connection, more freedom, more laughter, more truth, and more space. You are not too much for wanting to feel alive. Desire is not a flaw, it is rather your compass. So what does this all mean? Again, I'm going to say to you, you don't have a bad picker. You are exactly where you are. These people aren't bad people. They're not narcissists. Just everybody calm down. But you are being met, again, like I said earlier, exactly where you are. You're looking in your own mirror. And that is painful. So if we want to change this pattern, we have to do something different. This is a process. You are changing deeply conditioned behavior, most of us from early childhood. That's a long time. Takes time and patience for both yourself and whoever you choose to date. Right now, if you are in a space of walking away from something that doesn't serve you, then good for you. It's hard. It's so hard, but just think about this. You know, you're doing yourself a service. You're doing the other person a service, because what's coming next, now you have more information to work with. So give yourself a hug. You know, you're standing up for yourself. This is important. So you standing up for yourself in these moments is what leads to you trusting yourself again. It's what makes you feel like you can handle walking into another relationship again, because now we have the tools. Now we have boundaries. Well, I knew that previously, right? In my head, I knew it. But I'm telling y'all, when you're faced with that person and she's standing right in front of you and she's beautiful and you adore her and you just want to keep the peace and let everything be happy and you don't want to cause any ripples, it's really tough. So I feel for you. I get it. I've been there. But please don't let this stop you from allowing your heart to open again. Please don't let that stop you from getting yourself back into the game, because the only way that we do level up and we do find that partner that mirrors us and meets us where we are after we've done this work is by diving in. Is by getting back in, getting back on the horse, so to speak. This is what will make you less anxious about dating again. Have your own back. Speak up for yourself. Your future self will thank you for it. I have no doubt that the universe is going to test my ass again soon. And I look forward to it because I'm ready. I'm ready for that level up. I want that. I want a partner who meets me where I am in a healthy way. I welcome that. And I hope you do too. And I'm sending y'all lots of love and wishing you the best rest of end of summer. And get out there. Get out there. It's time.